Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Next Shot. I am Roger with
And I'm
Unlimited
Luke with Luke's
Photography.
Lens.
So, Luke,
It
it's
has
been a
been a
while,
while.
right? So, we are getting back into the swing of things for 2023, and we are going to be doing more recording, hopefully, of some of the guests um, that we're going to have invited to the show. That's where we want to take this year in 2023. We want to see if we can interview more photographers, more videographers, ask them questions, give them sort of kind of like an interview, but on a more casual side.
That makes sense. We're just going to
Right, Luke?
network, basically.
Yeah. Network, promote each other's work, and maybe learn a few things along the way.
Sounds fantastic.
So, Luke, I was looking on the interwebs of the YouTube, um, looking for some content for today's episode, and I ran across this guy. I've got it written down here. It's called, his YouTube channel is called The Photographic Eye. His name is Alex Kilby. Right now, I think he is sitting on 158,000 subs. With that being said, he was discussing on one of his episodes about some of the more underrated
Hmm.
YouTube channels that are out there that really dive into the history of photography. And not that they don't have a lot of subscribers, but when I started watching it, it was very interesting to see some of the people out there kind of like we are, where we're doing a few things that may help the industry, may help a few people that are just beginning in photography, or they have done interviews with uh, big name photographers or people that we've never heard of, but their work was just amazing. So I don't know if you had a chance to look through some of the videos or to give any feedback just yet, but what did you think about uh, when I sent those over? Some of the things that they were talking about.
It is interesting to see other people's perspectives, and how they interpret photography or even just art in general. But there's a lot out there on YouTube.
Okay.
So looking at his YouTube thumbnails, they're actually kind of all appealing, kind of suck you in a little bit. Just that yellow pop with the name kind of gets you, huh? It catches your eye for a second to get you in to look at it.
Yeah, and we discussed about doing our thumbnails for our show a few times. We try to have our logo in there. We may try to do something with our guest, and that's what they're saying helps with the
Mhm.
attention span. Because we're all the same way. We're visual. Especially other photographers. Nobody wants to see the same thing over and over. But again, drawing the audience and putting the caption in there so that they can look at some of those things a little deeper. Like that's
Mhm.
what caught my eyes is how he worded um, the actual video. So it wasn't the thumbnail that got to me whenever I first pulled this up under the photographic eye. It was the
Mhm.
title of the video. It said photography channels that YouTube doesn't want to show you. And I was thinking, okay, I don't understand. Did they block it, or is it
Mhm.
great or not great? Is it not enough subs? So he's discussing like the algorithm. And not a lot of subs. It's not like when we discussed Peter McKinnon and all of his 4 or 5 million, whatever it is now, his subscribers. It's not about the number of subscribers. It's about some of the content that some of it's
Mhm.
long form content, some of it's like really in depth interviews or something that it's almost like the way I seen some of the videos, not just his, but some of the sites that he's or the YouTube channels that he's recommended. It's like a little
Yeah.
independent film, like a
Mhm.
little short documentary about the life of a certain photographer, how they live their everyday life, or some of the things that they learned from that
Yeah.
photographer. So it goes back to the episode that we did with our uh, like our inspiration photographers that we chose. You know, when we start diving into a certain photographer, we start learning how they lived in that time, and I think your photographer is still posting great photos on like Instagram, I think it is,
Yeah.
or is it Instagram? Yeah, I think I follow her on Instagram. Um, and it just catches me off guard. You know, I'll be scrolling and then bam, it's like
Hmm.
emotional photo, you know? So how do you think that ties in with the current photographers, like us and some of the people that you shoot now? I mean, do you think 10 years from now others will join and it'll be history? You know?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people don't click or hit it off. You know what I'm saying? At first, and it's 10, 15 years down the road when stuff that they made previously finally picks up and takes off. But it's just everyone's art is totally obviously subjective. You know what I'm saying? And my
Right.
photography is not for everybody. I 100% get that. It's definitely not for Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. They don't necessarily they're not gonna push photography for anybody because it doesn't suit them. You know what I'm saying? It's not they're not making anything off of us.
Right. This is true, and it's not all about the commercial side of it either. And like you say, just looking at let's discuss like a photo book. You know, it used to be books were um, a great guide to photography, where now it's
Mm-hmm.
switched to digital. A lot of people don't do photo books anymore, so a documentary or even a video. One of them actually had a video of a photo book, just flipping through it, and it's talking about the images. So not only do you have the book form that nobody may ever order, may never purchase or see, you can see as they're flipping the book, you know, some of the details in the image, and maybe it gets me thinking about what
Yeah,
lens they used or what kind of film was used or what. I mean, it's not even about the camera, it's about the skill set that they had at that time. Okay, so so going along with that theme, a couple of the ones that he mentioned, if you guys, I'll put a link to the photographic eye to that video that inspired us this episode. One of them is um, it's T Hopper, T dot Hopper. If you want to pull that one up, Luke, I want to say that Alex said her name is Tatiana. She has got around
mm-hmm.
80,000 subscribers. Um, but some of her work, she is doing. I see she's doing some YouTube shorts as well, but uh, she's got like top five must watch photography documentaries that she
Yeah.
posted a couple weeks ago. So think about this. You know, documentaries are hard to film. Okay, no matter what you're doing, like if it's a motocross or oh man, it can be an actor, it could be all over the spectrum, right? But think about trying to film a documentary about a filmmaker or a photographer, how hard that would be, because you would have to really dive deep into somebody's
Mm-hmm.
past to try to see how that's going to affect
Well,
the
not
future
not only
generation.
that though, but
So if someone
you're
did a
making a film, say on an actor or something, someone in that film photography industry. You're making a film about them in their genre. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably even tougher than you might think going into it.
So you would be
Yes.
on pins and needles filming someone that films
Yes.
stuff for a living or shoots images, and they're like, oh, the exposure was horrible. You know, just, you know, they know everything that, like, they know what they would do
Mm-hmm.
in a documentary. So that brings up the question, you know, not only T Harper, um, or Hopper, I said Harper, Hopper. Not only does her films like have that, you know, she does some voiceover stuff as well. So keeping with the documentary theme, have you ever thought about if someone was to make a documentary about your life, how photography or videography would play a part in that?
That would be interesting. I've never even thought of that aspect.
Because, you know, even if, let's say you meet a future filmmaker fresh out of high school, loves to do, pick up a camera and just start recording. What if they followed you around for a day? Or, have you ever thought about like how people would perceive you? Or is this something that you want to leave behind as a
Yeah,
legacy? Have you done the things that people would be interested in, right? Like
yeah.
writing your
I
own
mean, it
story.
makes sense. I've just nothing I've ever thought about, but now, as we sit here, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. It's not like a reality show. It's more like a
Mhm.
behind the scenes look. So if you think about documentary style, if you were to pick up your camera, switch it to video, and film someone in your family or somebody that means a lot to you, if you could go back and film like your mom or a
Mhm.
great grandparent that you didn't really know, think about how that would affect your kids, your grandkids. You know, that's some of the things that we don't think about as photographers or videographers. We think that we're chasing that dollar. Let's book our next wedding when we got a whole world in front of us,
100%.
right? Okay, let's move on to uh, the next one I wanted to talk about was about photography. So, Luke, if you want to pull that one up, I think a lot of that has to do with his style of street photography. I think it's Martin, P
Yeah,
A R R, Parr. So I think he does a lot of street photography. So look over a couple of his, Luke, and see what you think. Like his thumbnails and his titles, if it's engaging to you.
definitely. I mean, they're all kind of across the board. Um, there's a chunk where he looks like he's interviewing somebody, and those are one kind of thumbnail. The rest of them are different. I mean, they're all intriguing. He's definitely trying out a style.
Right, right. So if you look a little bit further down, I think a year ago, Tatiana Harper was one of the people it looks like he interviewed. So again, that ties back into somebody that had, and it looks like it's an hour
Yeah,
and 32 minutes long. Most of his interviews are
yeah,
over an
two
hour.
two and a half hours.
So when they say long form, yeah, and just think about all the things that you could cover in an hour with somebody that you first meet. They inspired you. They're very creative, and they've probably
Mhm.
been where you're at, in their some point in their life. So that's a couple of the things that we want to discuss with you guys today. Was just take the time to look over some of the stuff that you're doing and looking at some of these YouTube channels. I mean, even if you don't have a YouTube channel, look, we're still very, very new at this, right? And we learn every episode we
Yes,
learn something new. Whether it be technical difficulties, yeah, how to overcome those, or if it's just, what are we going to talk about? What are some of the things that inspire us? What did we find that may we want to share with other people, right? Um, okay, so we talked about Tatiana Harper. We talked about the photographic eye with Alex. We talked about photography with Martin. So one of the other ones is the art of photography. So Luke, on that one, 796,000 subscribers. Okay. So the art of photography, what does that look like uh, as far as the YouTube
well,
channel?
he definitely
What do
looks
you think?
professional. You can tell he's been doing it for a while.
Okay.
He's consistent in his work.
So which one of the videos catches your eye when
Well,
you first
I've
pull up
actually
his
watched
channel?
this guy before. Yeah, yeah.
Have you?
I didn't
Okay.
know his YouTube name.
uh, Ted
Yeah,
Forbes.
but I've actually watched a couple of
Yeah,
his
I think it's
video like
Ted
over the
Forbes.
years.
Yes. And some of them
Yeah.
are a little older, 3 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago. So it looks like a lot of his stuff is older, but again, not a million subscribers, but the content. I mean, just looking at one of them, it was about film. Let me go back to it. The color
Mhm.
of photography,
About a year ago,
right?
I think.
Uh,
Yeah.
right. It's very short. So that's something that I mean, he can make and teach you something in 4 minutes, but a lot of his stuff looks like it's less
Yeah.
than 15 minutes, less than 10 minutes, right? So it doesn't have to be the hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, it
Yeah.
depends on the person on the channel. You know, some of our episodes have been, we try to keep them to about 30 minutes or so, but, some have been a little bit longer. Um, but again, for the new subscribers, which we picked up this week, just trying to push the channel. Thank you guys for joining um, our YouTube channel and supporting us. And Luke, I actually posted. Um, Let me go to the groups right quick, which I suggest that's what you may want to do from Georgia area. Try to find a couple
Mhm.
photography groups down there and see if we can't push,
Yeah.
because they're local to you, they may actually want to, to find people and associate with people in their area. But it's the North Carolina Photographers and Videographers Facebook page. So if you guys want to subscribe to that or join that, I think that is you have to be approved to join type thing. So it's a private page. But again, I got maybe 15, 20. Just when actually it's more than that now, I believe. Just within the day, I think I
Mhm.
posted it yesterday, of people that want to be on the show and share their experiences and do an interview, even if it's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
live interview. Maybe we can do a one on Riverside like we're doing now, and just invite a guest on every couple weeks. That way we can kind of get the show back up and
Definitely.
running, get some more content out there. So we will definitely be in touch with you guys that have subscribed, and I will send links out to everybody so you can participate in our next episode, even if it's on the chat side. Maybe you'll have questions for us on the show or that we can
Yeah,
answer.
100%.
Right, Luke?
I saw something the other day where, as a photographer or an artist, whatever you may be, you finish a painting, you finish, editing a photo, and the people that you share with are like, yeah, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not in that world. You know what I'm saying? You need other artists, other photographers, other creatives, if you will, and kind of network yourself with, surround yourself, kind of give you that boost of encouragement.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the people that don't know art will not appreciate art, and that's something that I think we do. We do create art. Even though the cameras now do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the work for us, we still take it in post and we still do some editing because we know the final product that we're shooting for may can't happen in camera. Like we
Yeah.
discussed, double exposure, harsh shadows. We did the HDR black and white episode. Um, Even when we discuss food photography, I still have that setting on my Snapseed that every time I take a picture of food, I go straight to Snapseed, find my look, hit food photography, completely changes the image that I just shot. Even though I did the depth of field, I did the focus, I tried to adjust the lighting, I still
Mm-hmm.
love the way it looks, you know? All right, let's see. We got one more, I believe. Expressive photography with Alistair Benn, Benn. So if you want to pull
Gotcha.
that one up, Luke, expressive
He's the bald Scottish
photography.
guy.
Yeah. Okay. So expressive photography has 32,000 subscribers. So again, Luke, these are not
Mm-hmm.
just a couple hundred subscribers. I mean, they have taken time to really put a lot of effort into creating these YouTube channels. And for all the new photographers or videographers out there that want to create content or have your own YouTube channel or haven't dove into it yet, Like some people sent me their link on that Facebook site for me to check out their website. Oh, websites are amazing. But being able to talk to people, sometimes photographers are the ones that like to
Mhm.
be behind the camera anyway, right? Such
Yes,
as
yes.
yourself. It's hard to be in
Like
front of the
this.
camera, but you have done yeah, you've done a great job coming out of your shell, right? Because of the show. So maybe that's something that we can do is bring them out of their shell. Sometimes it's hard
Yes.
to talk about yourself. I don't mind doing it. I've been practicing for
Sure,
years,
that's why you're
right?
the main host and I'm just the sidekick.
I wanted something that we could do to help other photographers because I've always been a teacher. I've always tried to be somebody that you can answer a question about photography. And as far as people in my family go, I would hope that they know that this is the industry that I've been in for
Yeah.
many years. And I have grown and I've answered questions and I've had to learn on our own. But I have had a few other photographers, um, to mention, one person, Terry Honeycutt, which may or may not subscribe to the channel. If not, shame on him. But we'll definitely try to get him on. Uh, he got me into doing more sports photography and nature stuff, with the nicer glass, the higher end cameras. And he had his own portrait studio, so he let me rent his studio out. So without him, he was somebody that helped me. He said, "Hey, why don't you put this lens on your camera and try it out, right?" And it was the 300 2.8 or 400 2.8 at the time, depending on
Hmm.
which lens it was. And I put it on there, and dude, I shot pictures I've never gotten before. I've seen clarity and I've seen the quickness and the silentness of
Yeah.
what it would do, right? So I took that knowledge and I said, if I ever have that chance to pass that knowledge on to somebody else, I'm going to do it. So guess what I did,
You
Luke?
passed it on?
I did. So I don't know if everybody has seen, but I have rented the 300 millimeter 2.8 Canon lens. So I was asked by another photographer to cover an event in South Carolina in Rock Hill. It was a football game, and it's the New York City Boldest, I believe is the name of the team. So I get there and I start shooting uh, pictures of some of the things, the handshake at the beginning, and then we start getting into the more action stuff. And I noticed this guy kind of off to the side
Mhm.
taking pictures, and it looked like he had a Canon. I couldn't tell from a distance, but I got within 20 feet of him at the goal line one time, and uh, you know, being myself, I said, "Look, now's your chance. See what the guy's working with as far as equipment. See if there because he wasn't shooting on a monopod. He did have a zoom lens. He had the strap around his neck, and I've been there, Luke. I've been that guy, and I'm like, here's the chance. So I walk up to him. I introduce myself. Hey, I'm here to shoot the game. And, are you shooting for anybody? Are you freelance? And he's like, I'm just freelance. I'm starting to get into photography, and my dad got me into photography, so bought me a camera. He said, actually, this is my dad's camera. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, that's cool. And it was like a T3i, I think it was. And so he seen that I had the big Canon lens, and I was like, well, uh, you know, if you want to use the lens, I'll let you use it for a couple plays and let you see what you think about it. And I'll tell them about Big's camera in Charlotte, how I rented it, and so we switched the camera, and I had it on the monopod, right? So it was an opportunity. You could just see his face light up. He's like a kid in the candy store, right? Um, but again, he got some great images with that, and you know, I think passing that knowledge along and letting somebody else use the equipment. Uh, had Terry not did that for me, I probably wouldn't
Yeah.
even know what that looked like. It's almost like you feel like you're
It
shooting
makes sense. You know what I'm
professionally
saying?
at
Yeah.
because of the
Always
equipment.
getting the opportunity to maybe he couldn't afford it. Maybe he never thought of getting something that big. I'm saying just giving somebody that chance to kind of go outside their own box. You know, feels good.
Right. It does. So, and talking to him a little further, I think he's going to be a guest on our show as well. He's actually out of the Charlotte area. I don't want to reveal his name just yet because I've still got to get some more research on, how he
Yeah.
wants to promote his business because he does have a business name. I think he just started his Facebook page, so we'll keep you guys posted on that as well. But again, if you're a photographer and you have equipment and you're shooting at an event or a function and you see another photographer, help them, guide them. And because I don't know if somebody did that for you, but I feel that's the way we should be treating other photographers in the same field,
Sometimes some
right?
of us are inside of a box that we don't want to come out. Sometimes we would rather have people approach us as opposed to us approaching people. So I would have been that guy that you approached.
Yeah, yeah, but now, yeah, okay, let's flip the script here. So now that I've approached you, Luke, I've let you use a 300 millimeter 2.8 on your Canon camera and the
Mhm.
monopod, okay, that you never would have thought, why would I need a monopod? Dude, if you carry around a 40-pound lens and you think you can yep, there you go. So if you think you can take that to a football
You're
game for
kidding
an hour and a
yourself.
half, 2 hours of straight shooting, it's not going to happen. Plus, your images are going to be blurry no matter how hard you try to hold that steady at 600 millimeters. An inch
Mm-hmm.
is a foot at 600 millimeters. Okay. So monopod is a definite. And when you see somebody at a sports event and they're not on a monopod with a larger lens, or even a 300 millimeter, 70 to
Yeah.
300 on a Canon, you still put it on a monopod. That keeps it from moving up and down. You know what I'm saying? You got the side to side now. So you have to keep it still when you start shooting faster frames per second. So would you, if you had the opportunity, walk up to somebody else now and say, hey, I was once in your shoes, here's the 300 2.8 or the 600. Would you say, hey, throw it on your Nikon,
Yeah, I
see
mean,
what it
if
looks
I'm
like?
out with that thing and somebody else is shooting with what you affectionately refer to my camera as a potato, I would would let somebody use my lens with their potato.
Exactly. But here's again, just because you have the potato, you throw that lens on there, it's gonna be
A
another
hundred
world,
percent.
right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So now, Luke, um, is there anything else you want to discuss on this episode? We've covered. We're back. We're going to do more interviews. We're going to be discussing some of the people's uh, careers and how they got there. We discussed a few of the YouTube channels that we want you guys to check out, which we'll actually leave in the description. So if you are watching the show and you don't really know where they're at, all you gotta do is just click on the links below. It'll take you to their home page, so you can scroll through some of the videos. Right? We've talked about people that have inspired us. Do you have somebody that has inspired you other than your
Um,
mom, or that you think has taught
it's
you a
weird.
couple things other
Sometimes,
than me?
sometimes you always just you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, something just catches your eye. So there's not necessarily anything specific, nobody specific. You know what I'm saying, just if you can't find somebody um, or something in the majority of people's photos or art or videos that kind of just inspires you to do something different or something, just maybe outside of your box, then maybe you just need to try a little harder because I'm telling you, there's inspiration in everything. Um, just even randomly scrolling through, Instagram, you'll find a piece of art or a photo, say, huh, I kind of not to recreate it, but just to kind of give you inspiration to go down a different road than maybe what you're used to. So I'm gonna say everybody. That's a cop out, but everything has some inspiration.
So you more are an Instagram person I think your style that you're learning now, it's like a mesh of multiple photographers or things that
Yeah,
you've seen, right? Does that describe your style?
it's a potpourri.
And I think, yeah, a potpourri. Gotcha.
Yes.
A little sprinkle of this, a little sprinkle of that. Very good. Okay, so I think we covered quite a bit in this episode. Again, for all of the subscribers that watch our videos to the very end, thank you guys. We really appreciate you. Luke, I know you have some words for them as
I'm
well.
just I'm
Um,
stoked to get some new people on the show. I'm stoked to start this back up again, to get our feet wet and just hit the ground running and going on, and building up our followers. And it's not for followers or likes, just to kind of build ourselves back up into what we know we can be. That's it.
I agree. Luke, what is the website that they can find us at?
The nextshot.fm. That'll also be in the links.
The next shot below. The next shot.fm. That's where you can contact us as well. Has our email addresses on there, as well as the YouTube channel. If you're seeing this link on Facebook, make sure you hit the Next Shot photo and video show. There is a couple other next shots on there. I think one of them's golf and one of them has to do with firearms. But
We fall in between in the
hey,
middle.
you
There
may
you
learn
go.
something new there too. Yeah, we're almost in between. You're right. So guys, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you share it with another photographer that you think would benefit from our show or would like to be on our show. And Luke, I'm going to sign off by saying thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. 2023 is going to be a great year for us. Luke, what do you
Again,
have
I just look
to end the
forward
show?
to getting some new people on the show, to guests, just to share their story with others, to inspire them and inspire us. Just to kind of get us going again. And we'll see you next time.
So before we let everybody go, Luke, tell them
Yeah, so
about
our
our
sponsor
sponsor.
today and always is the Enigmatic Studio. You can catch us on our Etsy shop at the Enigmatic Store, where we are 10% off and free shipping always. And here coming up shortly, we'll be releasing some stickers. So Enigmatic.
Ooh, I like that. Yes,
Boom.
very cool.
That guy.
I think that's my favorite. I like that one.
And again, there's about 15 more, but stickers are coming along, as well as shirts and hoodies and crew necks, and so I have some blankets up there as well. So just come check us out, the Enigmatic Store on Etsy.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. Again, thank you. And until next time, keep shooting.
Want me do my two-step.